Okay, so starting with the next topic, pledge by a non-owner. So this is very important question from exams point of view also. The topic of pledge that we have discussed, that has an assumption that the person who's making the pledge of the goods, he is the owner of those goods. That means it is only the owner of the goods who can make a pledge of the goods. You can give your goods as security for getting a loan for yourself. Now, you cannot pledge somebody else's goods to get a loan. That means, in case you are not the owner of the goods that you are pledging to get a loan from a banker or from a money lender, you are not making a valid pledge. That pledge will not be a valid pledge because it is the owner only who has a right to use the goods, sell the goods, pledge the goods. So, it is the right of the owner. But under law, certain exceptions have been shortlisted, wherein even if you are not the owner of the goods, you are a non owner, still you can make a valid pledge of the goods. But that is allowed only in these underlined exceptional circumstances. Not always, but only in some exceptional circumstances, a non owner can make a valid pledge of the goods. So one by one, we'll be discussing all these exceptions. So this question is all about the exceptions of the rule that only owner can make a valid pledge. So first exception is pledge by a mercantile agent under section 178. So first of all, we need to understand who is a mercantile agent. A mercantile agent is a person who has been appointed by a principal and he has been given an authority to sell his goods in the ordinary course of business. I have authorized you that you can make sale of my goods. Goods are mine, but you can sell those goods because I have given you the right. For example, a salesman appointed to sell the goods. Now, in this case, when this pledge was made, when these goods were given to the agent, that mercantile agent, in certain cases, he's not the owner, but in certain cases, in case he pledges the goods which belongs to his principal, he, being a non-owner, can still will be considered to be making a valid pledge. सो एक मर्केंटाइल एजेंट ने अपने प्रिंसिपल के गुड्स को प्लेज कर दिया है, वो ओनर नहीं था, वो नॉन ओनर था, लेकिन सेक्शन 178 की प्रोविजंस के हिसाब से अगर उसने प्लेज किया तो वो प्लेज वैलिड प्लेज माना जाएगा. लेकिन ये मर्केंटाइल एजेंट वाला जो प्लेज वैलिड होगा तभी होगा अगर आगे मेंशन जो हमने 5 कंडीशंस पढ़नी है, अगर वो कंडीशन फुलफिल की गई. नाउ व्हिच आर दीज कंडीशंस? फर्स्ट, you were having either the possession of the goods or documents of title. मीन्स या तो आपके पास फिजिकली वो गुड्स की कस्टडी है, गुड्स होनी चाहिए प्लेज करने के लिए, या गुड्स नहीं है, उनके पेपर्स पड़े हैं, ओनरशिप पेपर्स पड़े हैं, डॉक्यूमेंट्स ऑफ टाइटल पड़े हैं. सेकंड, the possession that you have for the goods or for the documents of title, that possession was with the consent of the owner. आपने कोई धोखे से चोरी से नहीं लिया था, उसके कंसेंट के साथ आपने वो उन गुड्स को या उनके पेपर्स को अपने पास रखा था. And then these goods were given to you in the capacity of mercantile agent specifically. Mercantile agent का काम करने के लिए वो goods दी गई थी. Fourthly, when this agent pledged the goods, it will be pledged by that person in the ordinary course of business. Ordinarily, in the course of business, these kinds of pledges are done, and that agent also makes that pledge. And lastly, the person with whom this pledge was done, that pledgee, he was acting in good faith and without notice that this agent has no authority to pledge. So these two conditions will be repeated in every next point also. So let me explain once only. The person with whom the goods were pledged, he was not aware that this person is mercantile agent. He may be aware that this person is mercantile agent, but he was not aware whether this mercantile agent has authority to pledge the goods or not. And this pledgee, he believed that this person has authority, full authority to pledge. That is why he's pledging these goods. That means he was presuming that this mercantile agent is pledging the goods with the consent of his principal and not otherwise. So we have this case, because question is important for 15 marks, you have to learn the sections and the cases mentioned herein. D. Gotter versus George Attenborough and Sons. In this case, there was a diamond dealer. he delivered his diamond to his mercantile agent and to sell further. And what this mercantile agent does, this mercantile agent handed over this diamond to his friend, and that friend pledged this diamond further. Now, the pledge was not done by the mercantile agent, it was done by the friend. So, in this case, it was held that the pledge is not a valid pledge because, as per this section 178 point, the mercantile agent can make a valid pledge. But in this case, pledge is not by the mercantile agent, but pledge is by the friend of that agent, which is not a exception of section 178. Second is, in some situations, there is a person who got the possession of certain goods under a voidable contract. Now, I hope that you understand what is a voidable contract. Like, for example, you have done that chapter of free consent. So, whenever in any contract, the contract is made without free consent, it is said to be a voidable contract. So, the contract is neither valid nor yet cancelled. It is a voidable contract, means the person whose consent was not freely given, that person had the authority to cancel the contract. He has this right, he has this option that he can cancel the contract. But that person has not yet cancelled the contract, so contract is still subsisting in the stage of voidable contract. Now this person, he got the possession of the goods, but the contract was voidable contract, and the contract was not yet cancelled by the uh, it was not yet cancelled by the other person whose consent was not free. So now in this case, you have not yet cancelled the contract, and the other person is having possession of the goods, and possession was got under a voidable contract, and that voidable contract was voidable and not a void contract. We have to clearly keep in mind it should not be a void contract but a voidable contract, and you got the possession. Now, before the other person, the other party cancels that contract because his consent was not freely given, before that cancellation was done, you make a pledge to somebody else. Now, that somebody else, a third party, that party is not aware that this person has got possession under a voidable contract. So, in that case, that third party is also acting in good faith, not having any doubt on you, and they have no notice that this person is not yet the complete owner of the goods. So in this case, frankly speaking, the person who's making the pledge, he is not the owner. Truly, he is not the owner of the goods. But still, law says that this non-owner also, if makes a pledge, will be a valid pledge. Like what happens in this case, Phillips versus Brooks. इस केस में क्या था, एक पर्सन ने चीटिंग करके एक रिंग परचेज की एक ज्वेलर शॉप से और उसको एक फेक चेक दे दिया. फेक चेक दिया मतलब आप चीटिंग कर रहे हो, फ्रॉड था, तो फ्रॉड के अंडर परचेज करके ले आए. इससे पहले कि उस ज्वेलर को, उस सेलर को आपके फ्रॉड का पता चलता, उससे पहले ही आपने क्या किया, फटाफट रिंग को आगे किसी और के पास प्लेज कर दिया. अब इस प्लेज को कैंसिल नहीं किया जा सकता क्योंकि प्लेज उस पर्सन ने की जिसने वॉइडेबल कॉन्ट्रैक्ट के अंडर ये रिंग परचेज की थी. वॉइडेबल कॉन्ट्रैक्ट क्यों था, क्योंकि फ्रॉड करके लिया गया था. और इससे पहले कि उस पर्सन को पता चलता, फ्रॉड करके लेने वाले पर्सन से जाके वो कैंसिल करता कॉन्ट्रैक्ट, उससे पहले पहले ही ये आगे प्लेज हो चुका था, इसलिए प्लेज जो है वैलिड प्लेज. थर्ड एक्सेप्शन इज pledge by a person with limited interest. Sometimes you are not the owner of the goods, but you have some kind of interest in those goods. Now, what kind of interest that can be will be visible from this example. Like a person found a watch lying on the roadside. He repaired that watch. He spent some money on that watch, like rupees 30 in this case. So when he spent this money, after that he tried hard to find out the true owner, but he could not get the true owner. So in that case, true owner could not be found. But आपके 30 रुपीज जो स्पेंड किए थे वॉच पे, वो आपके पेंडिंग पड़े हैं, रिकवर भी नहीं हो सकते. तो यहाँ पे कहा गया वॉच आपकी नहीं है, यू आर नॉट द ओनर ऑफ द गुड्स, बट आपका उस वॉच में रुपीज 30 का इंटरेस्ट है. 30 जितना आपने मनी इन्वेस्ट की है उतना आपका इंटरेस्ट है. तो आप 30 रुपीज के अमाउंट के लिए इस वॉच को किसी के पास प्लेज कर सकते हो, और आप नॉन ओनर हो, फिर भी ये प्लेज वैलिड प्लेज माना जाएगा. फोर्थ एक्सेप्शन इज pledge by a seller in possession after sale. सेलर ने गुड सेल कर दी है तो ओनर बन गया बायर, पर सेलर ने अभी भी पोजेशन अपने पास रखी हुई थी, या तो रीजन था बायर ने अभी लेने आना था, या बायर ने कहा था अभी रख लो, अभी मैं बाद में आके लेके जाऊंगा। तो सेलर के पास ऑलरेडी गुड्स की पोजेशन थी, जबकि गुड्स बिक चुकी है। ओनर ऑफ द गुड्स इज द बायर, सो इन दिस केस that way seller becomes the non-owner. Seller is a non-owner and he makes pledge of those goods to somebody, and that somebody is not aware that goods already have been sold off. So in this case, this non-owner also, if makes the sale, makes the pledge, this pledge will also be said to be a valid pledge, provided these two conditions, same conditions are there. The pledgee was acting in good faith. That means pledgee had no such doubt on you that the sale of the goods was already done. Buyer is the owner and the seller is not the owner. He is innocent person. He is not aware that a non-owner is making a pledge. And the last exception is pledge by a buyer in possession before sale. कई बार ऐसे होता है सेल की डील हो गई है, अग्रीमेंट हो गया, अभी तक ओनरशिप सेलर के पास ही है, लेकिन बायर ने गुड्स को चेक करने के लिए, टेस्ट करने के लिए, देखने के लिए ले लिया, और वो गुड्स लेने के बाद उसके बाद उसने कहा कि मुझे जो गुड्स अभी चेक करने तो उसके बाद मैं बताऊंगा मुझे परचेज करना कि नहीं करना। सो अभी फाइनल परचेज नहीं हुई है, बायर अभी ओनर नहीं है, बायर इज नॉट द ओनर so far. So in that case, this buyer being a non-owner, he has got the possession of the goods, sale is not yet completed, and he makes the pledge of these goods. So in case he makes a pledge, this pledge will also be a valid pledge, although it is not by the owner. And same two conditions, the pledgee was not aware that this person is not the owner and he is making a pledge. So in all these cases, all these non-owners, they have made a pledge which they cannot make, but because they are fulfilling the conditions mentioned under these exceptions, the pledge will be said to be a valid pledge. So in all these cases, समझ में ये आता है कि आप ओनर तो हो नहीं, फिर भी आप कैसे किसी और की चीज को प्लेज कर रहे हो, ये लॉ कैसे अलाउ कर रहा है, लॉ कैसे अप्रूव कर रहा है। तो इट बिकम्स अ क्वेश्चन दैट अ नॉन ओनर शुड नॉट बी अलाउड टू मेक अ वैलिड प्लेज। किसी और की चीज को प्लेज करके आप लोन लेके बैठे हो, चीज उसकी फंस गई है उस पर्सन के पास। तो इसका आंसर ये है, लॉ ने ये सोचा कि जो जिस पर्सन के पास आपने गुड्स को प्लेज किया, उससे लोन मनी ले ली, वो तो इनोसेंट पर्सन है, उसको तो पता नहीं है कि ऐसे ऐसे आपने गड़बड़ करके नॉन ओनर होके भी आप गुड्स को प्लेज करके गए हो, उसको लगा कि आप ही ओनर हो गुड्स के। तो क्योंकि वो इनोसेंट पर्सन है, उसका राइट अफेक्ट ना हो, इसलिए इस प्लेज को वैलिड प्लेज माना गया। बट व्हाट अबाउट द ओनर, उसके साथ तो गलत काम हो गया। तो ओनर यहाँ पे क्या करेगा, ओनर को अगर कोई एक्शन लेना है तो वो प्लेजर के अगेंस्ट, ये जो नॉन ओनर प्लेज कर गया उसके अगेंस्ट वो एक्शन ले सकता है, लेकिन वो इस प्लेज को कैंसिल नहीं कर सकता। सो इस तरह से अगर ये क्वेश्चन आपको आए 15 मार्क्स में, तो प्रॉपरली आप पहले प्लेज के बारे में एक्सप्लेन करो, कॉन्ट्रैक्ट क्या होता है, पार्टीज कौन सी हैं, इसेंशियल्स कौन से हैं, शुरू वाला पोर्शन, उसके बाद ये आप आंसर एक्सेप्शंस वाला मेंशन करोगे, बिकॉज अदरवाइज 15 मार्क्स जितनी लेंथ नहीं बनी। So this was all about pledge by a non-owner. So we already have known about bailment and pledge separately. This is the next question, a very important one also. Differentiate between bailment and pledge. So you can differentiate on the basis of these differences. Again, difference-based question must be answered in tabular form like this. Meaning, you all know, section we have done, parties we have done, bailer, bailee, and pledger, pledgee. Then purpose. In bailment, the goods are delivered for multiple kind of purposes. For the use of bailer, for the benefit of bailee, for the mutual benefit of both the parties. But in case of pledge, purpose is single. Only one purpose, to give the goods as a security for the loan, etc. Return of goods. In bailment, the goods are to be returned when the purpose is accomplished. But in pledge, the goods are returned when the debt is repaid, not before that. Then right of receiver in the property of the goods. Now in this case, in case of bailment, you have right only to possess the goods. You don't have any other right. And you can also make use of the goods if the contract allows. But in case of pledge, the pledger has one right, pledgee has the other right. So general property, general ownership of the goods lie with the pledger only. But pledgee also has a property right. Property means ownership right. But this is a special property right. The special property right that pledgee has is, in case his loan is not repaid, then he can sell the goods also. So now he is non-owner, but he can sell the goods because he has this special property right. Then right in case of default, in case there's a default in case of bailment, you have right of lien. But in case there is a default in case of pledge, you can either use a right of lien or you can also use a right of sale of the goods to recover your money. We have just discussed it before. Last is right to use the goods. So in case of bailment, if the terms of the contract allow, you can make use of the goods. But in pledge, you cannot make use of the goods. You only are required to retain the goods as a security so long as the loan is not repaid. So these are the various differences. And in addition to this, there are some miscellaneous topics also. You only need to do those concepts like hypothecation and mortgage. So we commonly hear these words mortgage and hypothecation. So pledge and mortgage, they are similar. Pledge is covered under Indian Contract Act, but mortgage is not covered under this, because mortgage means again giving something as a security for loan, but this giving of something will be immovable property. घर को mortgage कर दिया, शॉप को, बिजनेस को अपने mortgage कर दिया, जहाँ पे आपकी प्रॉपर्टी जो है कोई फिक्स्ड एसेट है, immovable प्रॉपर्टी है. प्लेज वाले केस में इट वाज मूवेबल प्रॉपर्टी. हाइपोथिकेशन, हाइपोथिकेशन और प्लेज भी सेम है. किसी चीज की पेमेंट ड्यू है, उसके लिए आपने एज ए सिक्योरिटी गुड्स को दिया, बट फर्क ये है प्लेज में गुड्स प्लेजी के पास पड़ी होंगी, हाइपोथिकेशन में गुड्स प्लेजर के पास ही रहेंगी. गुड्स आप उसको दोगे नहीं, गुड्स उसके नाम पे हाइपोथिकेटेड हैं डॉक्यूमेंट के हिसाब से, लेकिन आप उसको गुड्स फिजिकली हैंड ओवर नहीं करोगे. So these are the various topics of contract of pledge. And with this, we end with the contract chapter of contract of bailment and pledge. Thank you.